Hello everyone. So remember when I said I was gonna be making a whole computational redstone series, and then just forgot to make a video for like I don't know 2 months maybe, a month. Well yeah, so that's a thing. But I'm back now. I'm chilling. Um, Life just got a little busy-ish. So, eh. But yeah, so this is episode 2. Let's get into it. So, as we all know, 1 plus 1 equals 2. But how would we do that in binary per se? Because, I mean, we don't have the number 2, we just have ones and zeros. So we have to find a way to add these numbers in binary. And it's really simple. So right now we have gray as 1 and black as 0. So if we have 1, 0 plus 1, 0, we're going to end up with 2. I mean, 1, it's 1, 0, or 0, 1, as it should be said. 0, 1 plus 0, 1, or just 1 plus 1 is going to be, we're in binary now, 2. Because we know that 1, 0 in binary is 2. But how did we actually get there? How did we get from putting this and this together to getting this? How did we just swap the digits around? So it's kind of similar to regular math, or using, decimal, as we normally do. 1, we add 1 plus 1, and we can't, so when we're adding numbers in binary, we add and we have an overflow or a carry. So if we have two numbers in the same column, we flip the numbers to 0 and we carry the 1. So we just call it the carry. So if we have, let's say, 1, 0, let's say, 1, 0, 1 plus 1, 1, 0, 1 plus 1, 0, actually, 1, 0, 1 plus 0, 0, 1. Yeah, that works out great. So we can see here that we would add these, but since we have two 1s, we're gonna make it a 0, and then we're gonna carry the 1. And since we have two 0s here, we're not adding anything to the carry. So we're gonna so it becomes 0 plus 0 plus 1, and that's 1. And then we add 1 plus 0, which is just going to come out to 1. So we have 5, or 1, 0, 1 plus 1, and that is going to be 4 plus 2 plus 0, which is 6, or 1, 1, 0. Not the best explanation on the planet, but I'll link videos to people that explain it in better terms than I do. And so yeah, it's really simple, honestly. The only thing that would be I would personally say would be super difficult to understand about it would be that when you carry, you have to make sure you add, you don't just carry, you have to make sure you add the carry to what you already have. So let's say you have 1, 1 plus 1, 0. Yeah, so let's say we have 3 plus 1. Yeah. So you're going to add these two, and that gives you a carry. But you have to remember that while you flip this bit, and this is going to be 0, now we have 1 plus 0 plus 1. And that's basically just 1 plus 1. So again, we're going to have to flip and carry. And so our final answer is going to end up being 1, 0, 0, or 4. So that's the only thing I would say would be kind of complicated to understand. But in the long run, I mean, once you've done it for a while and gotten used to binary and gotten used to, just adding the numbers, it's really simple. You can you'll get to a point where you can do it in your head. And, if you're really struggling, I would say make sure you learn how to do it in binary. But if you are really, really struggling, it's always you can always just, convert 3 plus 1. I mean, that's 3 plus 1, and that's going to be 4. But I would say make sure you learn how to do it in binary, because once we build an adder, which we're going to be doing in this video, then it'll make more sense as to how the adder actually works. Because what we just did, we basically just built the adder and in a kind of way. We're just going to be doing it where we can program it with numbers. Okay, so we're going to start off with building what is called a ripple carry adder, or RCA for short. Basically what happens is, the way it works is, you have what I'm going to call, I don't know if this is actually the word for it, but what's basically a cell. And this cell, you add the two numbers, and if you have, it's like it's the first two, what we had there. The first two lines, which is basically our 1 plus 1, or 1 plus 0. And that's going to be each bit. Each bit is going to have what I'm going to consider two cells. And so we're going to add 1 plus 1. This is going to be our first and our second. Our first number and our second number. So we're going to have it send a signal through a torch. And I'll explain this better in a minute, because it's really cool how it works. And we're going to have it add the numbers that way. So basically, okay, yeah. So basically, this is something we've been over, and it is a XOR gate. We've been over these before. So basically, you'll notice that an XOR gate is really, really cool in that it basically already does everything we need it to do to add numbers. If we have one input, it goes through. If we have another input, it also goes through. But if we have both, it turns it off. And you'll know that, like, one input, we're going to get 1, we're going to get a 1. But if we have 2, it's going to come out to be a 0. So basically, it really does most of the work for us. We don't really have to actually do a whole bunch to get our numbers added. But there's a problem with just using one XOR gate. And that's, what if we have a carry? We're going to have to send a carry signal out, which is going to be, so I'll explain that in a second too. But if we have to send a carry out, how do we get a carry signal in? Well, that's simple. What we're going to have is a line coming across, and it's gonna have a signal that goes into yet another XOR gate, because remember, it's basically a third addition line. It's basically just a third addition line. So we're going to take the result from this first XOR gate, or, cell, the first cell, or XOR gate, and we're going to put it through this, a second XOR gate, to yet again add those two numbers together. And this one's a lot more simple because you're just throwing everything together, and bam. That's pretty much done. Except it's not fully done yet, because while we can have a carry come in, we don't have it yet where we can send a carry signal out. Getting to do that is actually pretty simple. So basically, you'll notice when we have an XOR gate, let me just build one more just for show purposes. Okay, yeah, so we have an XOR gate. You'll notice that when we have both of our inputs on, so basically an XOR gate is just an AND gate and an OR gate. You can see that this is going to be the OR gate right here, and it's connected to this AND gate. That basically when the AND gate turns on, it turns these torches off. But when just one of them, and so the AND gate is going to be turned on, of course, when both of our inputs are 1. So it's going to turn this torch off. It's going to turn this torch on, which turns these lines on, which turns these off, just as it would be if these torches didn't have power coming into them from the levers. So these are going to be off, and the signal's going to be off. And just, there's the OR. You can tell how it ORs. It's pretty simple. But basically, the AND gate only turns off when, the AND gate obviously only turns off when both of the signals are on. So that means that whenever we have both of these on, meaning we're gonna have a carry, this torch right here will be turned on. So if we can tap off of this torch, send a signal, we can basically show that that is going to be our carry. So let us come over here, and of course that's why I kind of have it set up this way instead of like this, so we can just have these levers here turning these lines of redstone on and off, or on, whenever the AND gate's off, and we can have a torch here to tap our signal out into the line. So now whenever we have a carry, this line is going to turn on. Now you can also have a carry, as we showed earlier in our I think it was, what was it, 3 plus 1. You can also have a carry from the carry. So we have to be able to send a signal out from here, which, that's simple too. We have this AND gate here. We can just put a torch on it, and that turns, makes it this. And so that is going to be our completed bit. When you break it down step by step, it's really kind of simple to understand. But if you just look at it like it is, it's just a really big amalgamation of redstone. So I tried to break it down as much as I possibly could. I didn't really get too advanced. Like, I didn't talk about, didn't really go into the generate and the propagate and all that stuff. Propagate. But yeah, so basically the reason it's called a ripple carry adder is, let me just add a couple bits. Okay, so, and it's one thing I never did was I never did explain what this is for. This block's here just to prevent backflow from backflow from future carry bits, so the carry doesn't go backwards. So basically, the reason it's called ripple carry is because, let's say we have one, 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 and we send a, so we basically have all ones, and then we send a carry signal through. So we can send a carry signal into the first bit using this little line. You can see that it turns off as like a ripple and turns on like a ripple. And that's because what happens is it flows into this, then it comes through this AND gate, out into this line, into the next bit, through the AND gate, and that AND gate causes a delay, which kind of appears to us as what would look like a ripple. So that's a cool addition. So basically, yeah, that's just our beginner level adder. If you really want to, you can try to expand on this, and if you want to research ahead into the next video, you can try to figure out how subtraction works and see if you can turn this into a subtractor, which is really easy. And maybe if you want to be really advanced, you can make it where it swaps between addition and subtraction, which, if you want to work ahead, that would be great. But yeah, so I also just realized I never actually did make the video on logic. I didn't actually go over any logic gates. So I'm a little ahead of myself because I haven't worked on this in like a month now. So yeah, I'm gonna go make that video, and this will. So I'm recording this before I actually made the logic gates video, which is kind of funny because the logic gates video is gonna come out first because it kind of needs to. So yeah, bye bye.